Hello there. Happy Friday. So I've got an email from Alex, and Alex writes, I'm a 21-year-old university student who was diagnosed with anorexia when I was 14. At my lowest weight, I'm not going to say that. It was a very difficult and traumatic experience, but I made it through treatment and was weight restored by 16. I'm also a competitive swimmer, and now I have an intense training week. I have many things I want to ask you. Try to narrow it down to 3 main points. Okay. Point 1. This is a long email, by the way. Go and grab yourself some snacks. Point 1. Even though I was weight restored, I never really stopped having the eating disorder thoughts about food, the need to be in control, and the general anxiety around food and body weight. However, it was the fear that any indication of weight loss or anorexic behavior would result in me having to stop swimming that kept me from losing weight, but also from asking for more help than I really stopped me from asking for more help even though I really needed it. Unsurprisingly, when I went to university 4 years later and started making my own food choices, what started as the typical I finally get to eat healthy over the period of 3 years turned into a highly restricted and orthorexic diet, which I still adhere to. I've lost weight, but it's almost as through this is anorexia's second shot, and this time we're being smarter and learning from how we got caught last time. Don't stop eating, you'll get caught and lose control. Make sure you eat tons, but the right foods. Don't keep losing weight, people will notice and step in. But stay at this unhealthy low weight, which people have gotten used to. Don't exercise and burn calories, people will get... Okay, so you're outlining all of the ways that you're kind of like using your experience to outsmart friends and family so that they don't recognize that you're sick. I know it's so disordered, but I can't get out of the cycle because it's so sustainable and I'm not in bad enough shape to justify or help worrying my family and friends. Do you have any idea of where I can start? Well, first of all, you never recovered. Weight restored doesn't mean that you're fully recovered. Evidently you weren't, let's face it. So all that's happened is you moved away and your eating disorder was able to gain more control, but I don't think you were ever fully recovered. And so you're flying under the radar. Well, great, lucky you. I mean, good for you. But really, what's that achieving? Your life is not about trying to outsmart other people, and your aim should not be to make nobody else think that you've got an eating disorder so that you continue to do it, because they're only going to make yourself miserable and fuck up your body. So, in advice of what you should do, you need to actually get into recovery, because evidently you're not in recovery at the moment. You are actively sustaining your eating disorder. Nobody's making you do that. Nobody's going to make you recover either, especially you're an adult now. Even if your friends and family did start to notice, like, what are they really going to do? So it's up to you. It's your life. You can either, here are your choices. Number 1, A, I'm going to continue to fuck around with my body, continue to have an eating disorder, and live a life of misery. Number 2, B, I'm going to recover and have freedom. A-O-B. B. All right, second question. So many of your videos about listening to your body and giving it what it wants. You mention all the time how intelligent our bodies are, and I really want to agree with you. But here, where my anorexic brain tells me you're wrong, pointing out how many fat people are there and how many people, and aren't these people doing exactly what you say? Aren't they eating whatever they want? It seems to be that it's a small minority of people who are generally healthy, both physically and mentally. When you consider overweight, obese statistics paired with eating disorder statistics, and then deduce that over what's left over must be healthy. That's too many statistics. You've lost me. Anyway, I'll continue. So my anorexia brain argues that I'd rather take my chances here at this end rather than ending up obese. Like, let's wait a minute. So that all of that, like, obese. This is this perception of anybody that's overweight or obese. They must be just stuffing their faces the whole time. That's the only reason that they got there. And that is judgmental, and it's also incorrect. There's one thing that the vast majority of people who are overweight or obese all have in common. And it's not that their faces are off the whole time. It's that they're always on a diet. And the vast majority of people who are overweight for their bodies have got there via dieting. Google diets don't work. Google the science behind that. So it really depends on a person's genetic makeup as to how they react to perceived food scarcity. Some of us react to perceived food scarcity by developing a restrictive eating disorder like anorexia, which is a migration response. Some of us react to perceived food scarcity by a hibernation response, which is a very smart body going like, oh, there's food scarcity, therefore I should store some on my body, store more fat. And that's what happens when the vast majority of the population go on a diet. Their bodies react by lowering metabolism and storing more fat. It's not because people are stuffing their faces the whole time that they end up in larger bodies or larger bodies than they started with. It's because they've been dieting the whole time, and it's really damn important that you understand that. The end. All right, I'll move on. A little bit of a rant there. Okay, third question, Alex. If you're still talking to me, that rant wasn't completely aimed at you. That's diet culture to a T. And people wonder why the fuck diets don't work. And people wonder why the fuck people who start themselves on diets end up in larger bodies. It's because you can't fight your biology. I just wrote a blog about this today and I published it, so maybe you should read that. Okay, so number 3. Finally, this is slightly more personal to me and perhaps not nearly as universal, but I have 2 obese parents. This means 2 things. First of all, the way I was taught as a child seems really unacceptable because it results in a lifestyle that results in obesity. It also means that when I go home, I'm very anxious because I have a constant reminder of why I must restrict and not just eat whatever I want. You know how some anorexics put up thin-spo pictures to remind them of their goals and critical weight. Well, I have a constant reminder of my goals and I just can't take them down, and they're my parents. My mother saved my life when I was 14 at a dangerously low weight, but I know part of being recovered is not comparing what you eat and how you look to others. But that is the state of being recovered, which is starkly different from the recovery process, which I see so much more difficult people of my parents' weight. Okay, so you're judging, you're all right, when you're in recovery, your brain is scared of weight gain, and what it's going to do is it's going to use anything and everything that it can do to put you off gaining weight. And this is another thing it's using. And you also, so it may well be that your fully recovered body, when you're not suppressing your body weight, is a larger body than you want it to be. Tough shit, really. I'm afraid it is. Your body knows what weight it needs to be optimally healthy. If you judge that as unhealthy, and judgment is the operative word there, if you're judging that as unhealthy, does that change the weight that your body thinks it needs to be optimally healthy? No. And is your body wrong? No. This is a body diversity argument. People come in all different shapes and sizes. If you don't like the shape and the size that you naturally genetically should be at, and you start to fight that, all that happens is you get miserable and you get an eating disorder and you don't have any freedom. Like, do you think that just because you're suppressing your body weight, right? That's what's happening right now, isn't it? You're suppressing your body weight. Do you think that at some point your body's just going to give up and be like, oh, fuck it. I'll just stay skinny. I won't even try and get back up to where I'm going to be. Just leave it. Do you really think you're going to win this battle? Your body is not going to do that. Your body is just going to fight you harder and harder and harder. Your body is going to fight you by lowering metabolism because your body just knows I need to be where I need to be in order to be optimally healthy. The fact that you don't like that, your body doesn't care if you like that or not. Your body doesn't care about your judgment about that. If you're supposed to be in a larger body, you're supposed to be in a larger body. And you cannot, your choices are either fight my body all my life, and it will gradually get worse and worse and worse, and I'll have an eating disorder, or stop fighting my body, accept my body, get on with freedom. Again, maybe freedom, not freedom, eating disorder, fighting my body the whole time. God, it's a tough one, isn't it? Alex, thank you for writing. That was a very detailed email. You are not as recovered as you think you are. So, overall, the things that you need to focus on is your body image, your negative body image. You need to focus on accepting body diversity. You need to focus on not judging. And you also need to focus on choosing recovery. Because at the moment, you're still kind of like, yeah, I want to recover, but I don't want to gain weight. It's not going to happen, sweetie. Okay, hope that helps.